thank you, Mr. Robin, for attending this seminar for our company C&T Group in this hotel. And I'm asking, do you have any new technology in the near future to be introduced to the international market?
Yes, well, actually, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to attend to this seminar. It's always a pleasure coming to Egypt, and the seminar has been very well attended today with a lot of good questions and a lot of interest from a wide range of people.
الفاير فايتنج، السكيورتي، الاكسس كنترول، السي سي تي في، البي بي اكس، البابليك ادرس، الفويس ايفاكيويشن سيستمز، الميتال ديتكشن جيتس، الاكس راي، النيرس كول للمستشفيات. ومعانا بعض الانظمه بنمثل فيها مصر كوكيل وحيد، وبعض الانظمه اوثورايز ديلر. فاحنا اساسا معانا في الفاير الارم معانا كنترول ايكويبمنت وكيل وحيد لشمال افريقيا، لان عندنا مكتب في الجزائر من حوالي 3 سنين. وهوتشيك يوروب برضو احنا بنمثلها في مصر. في الشهادات موجوده. على فكره البرزنتيشن ده موجود في السي دي اللي مع حضراتكم وهيتوزع عليكم مع بعض الهدايا من الشركه. In Mars Alam Airport, we installed the fire alarm in VIP building and the water pump station building, and also Intercontinental Abu Suma, which some people know that it is Kiriazi. It's a very big project. It costs about 3.5 Egyptian million pounds, fire alarm and firefighting, about 2,000 smoke detectors, about 8 panels, 8 loop. طبعا مبنى التلفزيون في ماسبيرو في حوالي يمكن 10 شركات احنا نفذنا فيه الطابق الارضي. عملنا مترو الانفاق خط المرج حلوان، مينا العين السخنه مع شركه الفا، يمكن المهندس احمد موجود معانا، عملوا السكيورتي شركه الفا. واحدا قرى سياحيه موفنبيك شرم الشيخ، سييرا في خليج نب قريه سياحيه ايطالي، في طابه سي ستار. يعني الحمد لله مشاريع كتيره جدا. بسبب قله مشاكل هوتشيكي ما بنعرفش نعمل عقود صيانه، وده مش كلام بيع لكن دي حقيقه والله. كتير من الشركات الزميله مرتبات والاوفر هيد متغطي بالعقود الصيانه، انا مش عارفين نعمل عقود صيانه لان ما فيش مشاكل. بعد نهايه سنه الضمان قالوا نعمل عقد صيانه، تقول استنى ماجد بيه شهرين ثلاثه ونشوف، يفوتوا ما فيش مشاكل، سنه ما فيش مشاكل، سنتين، 5 سنين. يعني هوتشيكي اللي راكب في انتر كونتيننتال كريازي 5 سنين ما فيش مشاكل، بعد 5 سنين قال لي وزاره السياحه طلبت عقد صيانه فاعمل لي عقد صيانه. مش كلام تجاري ولكن دي حقيقه فعلا اقل مشاكل شفناها مع هوتشيكي.
We have the flat response technology. This was developed by Hochiki many years ago as it undertook a project to ascertain the best angle of the optics within inside the optical chamber to help eliminate unwanted alarms. Better than the ionisation, but in the case of test number 5, which is heptane, the ionisation was better than the original optical. But in changing the chamber design, we now have a new high-performance chamber, which is almost a flat line, hence the name flat response. In some cases, as you can see, it does actually outperform an ionisation sensor. So in light of this, Hochiki has removed ionisation detectors from their conventional range, and we have a very limited supply of ionisation in the addressable range because we believe that ionisation. There is also a disposal cost, approximately £5 sterling for every ionisation detector installed, because we have to dispose of these properly in line with government regulations. So ionisation is gradually being phased out and more customers are taking the new photoelectric chamber.
لأن في البلاد المتقدمة زي أوروبا وأمريكا الديتكتور الأيوني بعد ما يبقى اكسبايرد لازم يدفن بطريقة خاصة لأن في مواد مشعة. طبعا في بلدنا ما عندناش الثقافة دي، لكن هم بيكلفهم زي ما قال دلوقتي 5 جنيه استرليني عشان يعني يدفنوا. احنا عندنا طبعا بنحطه جنب السرير وبنحطه في المخزن بالظبط كده. لكن البلاد اللي بتحافظ على البيئه ان دفنه مشكله، فاحنا خلاص الايوني. حتى المالتي سنسور كان زمان في سنسور ايوني وسنسور ضوئي وسنسور حراره، دلوقتي المالتي سنسور في هوتشيكي دخان وحراره بس.
The photoelectric smoke sensor is available. The ESP in the conventional range and are intrinsically safe and marine approved ranges.
intrinsically safe. الاكسبلوجن بروف ديتكتور غالي جدا، فالانترنسيكلي سيف لو فاكرين الزينر دايود بيعمل سبريشن لاي تيار عالي، فده يستخدم في لو كنا محتاجين وسط فيه مواد متفجره او سريعه الاشتعال. الانترنسيكلي سيف ده حل وسط، ما هواش بارتفاع ثمن الاكسبلوجن بروف ولكن اكسبتد بالان اف بي اي والبي اس انه يستخدم في حاله لو وسط فيه مواد سريعه اشتعال او كده.
Hochiki, and I don't believe any other manufacturer which allows The first sensor we have is the ALGEN. This is our photoelectric smoke sensor. It's an analog addressable device because it has a photoelectric chamber, but it does use the digital communications protocol to communicate with the control panel. Some of the features of the device, as Mr. Maga mentioned, it has twin fire LEDs. Many years ago, Hochiki devices had one LED. We undertook a project to fit two LEDs to the device. So when you install the sensor into the room, providing you have clear line of sight, you can stand anywhere in the room and see at least one LED illuminated. Okay? If it was one LED only, you would not see it obviously from the other side. So this will help you find the device in fire a lot quickly.
بحيث ان لمبتين البيان يبقى بتشاف من الكوريدور من جميع الجهات او من الغرفه. كتير من الشركات عندها لمبه بيان واحده.
As well as the smoke sensor, we have the ACB-E. This is our multi-heat sensor. This device is a combined rate of rise and fixed heat sensor, and you can adjust the heat threshold from 0 to 88 degrees Celsius, and anywhere in between. As I say, you can choose if it's fixed or rate of rise, and you can also disable the LEDs. You'll probably notice the display board at the back of the room with the devices that are active, and as you look at that, you'll see the LEDs are flashing. Without sensors, you can now disable that red LED flashing, because some members of the public can mistake that for a fire condition. So to prevent confusion, you can turn off the LED. This will cut down service time, and it will cut down injuries as well. So people will no longer injure their fingers when activating the call point.
النوع ده مناسب جدا لمصر، ان شعبنا شعب فضولي بطبعه، فبيلاقي اكسر هنا او بريك جلاس يروح سامع الكلام وكسره ومن غير حريقه. فالريسيتابل ده كويس، لا بيعور ولا ويرجع على طول. كتير من الاحيان يقول لك الحقونا عايز 10 ازازات او كده، فالريسيتابل ده نوع كويس جدا. ما اعرفش ما بيغيرش، ترجع بالظبط كده. هل بتوصفها يا دكتور ولا؟
I won't go through all of them today because we'll be here until midnight talking about their features and their functionality. But each of the modules are discussed in detail in our literature. However, the first 6 modules in white are what we 27. Okay, and they are loop powered, so their functionality is quite small. They don't use a lot of power, so they can get their power from the control panel. With the other 3 modules, these will sit on the loop, they will take an address, but they must have a 24-volt power supply connected because they have a larger function. To give you an example, the dual zone module would allow you to connect up to 60 conventional detectors. That's 30 per zone. It gives you 2 conventional zones, very much like a conventional control panel. So you can interface conventional equipment onto that system. But because of that, it needs to power those devices, so it needs a 24-volt power supply. This is a Hochiki bass sounder which was designed and is manufactured in the UK by us. And it's been designed with a lot of thought, and it's been designed to save time, mainly for the engineer, upon installation and for maintenance. I mentioned that all of our ESP devices will utilise the handheld programmer. With the bass sounder, you can use this device in one of 2 ways. The most common way is underneath a sensor as a bass sounder. So it takes one position and you have a smoke sensor and then you have a sounder. That then becomes the address of the bass sounder. Okay? So your sensor is address 10, your bass sounder becomes 137. So you can accommodate 127 sensors and 127 bass sounders on one Hochiki loop. We have the bass sounder beacon. This has all of the same features and benefits as the bass sounder, but it now has the added benefit of a flashing beacon as well. The addressing is the same. You simply put it underneath the sensor, alter the panel, and you then get a sub-address. But this device, again, has 3 modes of operation. It can be a bass sounder, a bass beacon, or a bass sounder beacon. Unlike a lot of our competitors, you actually have independent control of the sounder and the beacon, so you can disable one of them if you wish. Okay?
دي خاصية ممتازة، يعني سرينة وفلاشر مع الديتكتور في قاعدة واحدة. أعتقد المنافسين ما عندهمش القصة دي، الله أعلم، بس أعتقد متفردين بيها.
الله أعلم.
الله أعلم.
Obviously, both the base sounders and wall sounders have different sound outputs. The base sounder and base sounder beacon is 50 dB up to 98 dB. The wall sounder is 90 to 102. Okay, but they're all addressed either automatically or using a handheld programmer, depending on the type of installation. The wall sounder in the larger picture is for indoor use. We can offer a weatherproofing kit, which will increase the rating to IP65 for outdoor installations, car parks, open areas, etc. And as well as the wall sounder, we have a wall sounder beacon. Same benefits and features as the wall sounder, same volumes, same addressing method, same weatherproofing kit, same mounting bases, but again you can have a wall sounder, a wall beacon, or a wall sounder beacon, 3 modes of operation with independent control, which is again, some of our competitors don't have that functionality. So you have more control over the device. All of the sounders you have just seen all have the same tones. There are 51 different tones available. So whether you have bass sounders or wall sounders in the same installation, you have the same tones throughout the building. We also have a range of addressable beacons. These have a 1 Hertz flash frequency, but they utilise the same base as our sensors. So there's no other special bases needed. Use the same mounting base as our smoke and heat sensors, and they are again addressed using the handheld programmer with a main address. Red, blue and yellow are the 3 colour options in the cause and effect software. Our sensors utilise one of 2 mounting bases, the standard base or an isolator base. Both of those bases have 3 terminals. The 3rd terminal is for a local remote indicator, which must be hardwired to that base. However, we can offer you an addressable version. This can be installed in a completely separate building on a completely different loop on a different control panel on the network, but be associated to another sensor using the cause and effect software. So you can have 64 control panels networked, each running a number of loops in separate buildings, several kilometres apart, and they can be connected using the cause and effects. It's a very secure system.
Cerberus, yes.
But with BS5039, roughly 4 or 5 isolators per loop should be sufficient. But the Kentec panels have built-in loop isolators.
Every 15 or 20 detector will put
15 to 20 smoke detectors on average.
Yes.
That will be reduced for heat sensors because they have a smaller area of coverage. But yeah, if you have, say, 20 sensors, 127 devices, 100 devices, 4 or 5 isolator bases on 1 loop.
What about other types of detectors? If Hochiki manufacture, you talk only about the types of optic detectors, but what other types, like beam detectors, like you have manufacturers?
Yes, yeah. So, as I mentioned, we have the handheld programmer, battery powered, very lightweight, and it's designed to program all of our sensors, call points, all their visual equipment as well. It uses a standard 9-volt battery, which will get approximately 8 to 10,000 addresses from 1 battery before it has to be replaced. I mentioned earlier analog values with our smoke sensors. You can check the analog value of our smoke sensor on the control panel or on the handheld programmer. So you've got 2 ways of verifying the readings to see if it needs cleaning. So it's not just designed for setting addresses. There's a range of different bases specific to the conventional range. We also have 4 different heat detectors for 60 and 90 degree heat thresholds, both fixed and rate of rise, again for a wide variety of heat detection installations. I mentioned a range of mounting bases. We have a standard mounting base and also a range of bases with a built-in relay as well for further control.
الريلي ماونتنج بيس دي جميله جدا. بدل ما ابعت سيجنال من الكنترول بانل لغايه التكييف عشان افصله او كده، لا مع البيس نفسه، فممكن اقرب بيس لماكينه التكييف يبقى قللت في الكيبلينج. ففي عندي ريلي ماونتنج بيس، عندي ريلي سيركت مع الديتكتور، فاقرب مكنه التكييف، اقرب مروحه عايز افصلها. فدي فكره جميله جدا جدا، مش محتاج اروح لغايه الكنترول بانل.
This may look very strange. This is actually an old design of Hochiki's, but it's proven so reliable, we still sell these devices today. This is what we call a mechanical device. It's from the earlier Hochiki range. It's an IP67 rated heat detector. And when we say mechanical, when the heat in the room exceeds 60 degrees Celsius, the bimetallic strip will change shape, come into contact with a switch to trigger a fire alarm condition. When this device is in its normal status, it draws 0 standby current. It only draws current when it goes into alarm. And we also have the HO24, the UV flame detector. This device will pick up a UV light source from a flaming fire up to 8 metres away, mounted on the ceiling or onto the wall. It's sometimes utilised inside large equipment for maintenance. And we also have, again, call points in the conventional range, both indoors and outdoor versions of call points. As well as the standard range of detectors, as Mr. Maga mentioned, we also have the intrinsically safe detectors. We have an intrinsically safe smoke detector, an intrinsically safe heat detector, and intrinsically safe call point as well. These are designed for hazardous type of environments using the appropriate safety barrier. So petrochemical plants, some chemical processes, and various areas where there may be hazardous gases or liquids in that type of environment. We also have a small marine range of devices, a marine approved smoke detector and 2 marine approved heat detectors as well.
برضه مارين ابروف ده بيحتاج احيانا في السفن والمراكب او المشاريع تانية، برضه من الشركات القليله اللي بتعمل مارين ابروفد.
And we also now have an industrial flame detector. This is a triple infrared flame detector. It will pick up a flame which is approximately 10 centimetres square, more than 25 metres away. If the flame is larger, it will reach up to 40 metres in distance. We offer 3 versions of this device. We offer a standard version for normal installations, we do an intrinsically safe version, and we do an explosion-proof version.
This is IR?
Infrared, yeah.
Infrared.
This is a triple IR. It looks at 3 different types of frequencies within a flaming fire. So it's not prone to false alarms, it's not affected by sunlight, it's not affected by infrared torches, etc. It's looking for particular frequencies within a fire condition. These devices can be mounted on a bracket, which is fully adjustable, left and right and up and down. So you can point the flame detector to the exact spot where you think the risk will be present. We also have some beam detectors within our conventional range. This is a reflective beam detector. It's been around for many years and it's proven very reliable and very popular. This particular device consists of a transmitter and receiver in one housing and a prismatic reflector. This particular device will cover a distance of 30 metres, minimum 5 metres up to a maximum of 30 metres. 30 metre distance, yeah.
Distance and width?
Total width will be 15 metres, 7.5 metres. So total area coverage is 450 square metres.
30 metre maximum.
According to height.
Height.
What about height for width?
The width has no bearing on the height. It's a pencil-lined beam, and because it's a optical beam detector, it has the same detection principles as smoke detectors. So if you have an infrared pencil light beam from the transmitter bouncing back off the reflector, 7.5 metres to the left, 7.5 metres to the right. Same area of coverage, so you get 450 square metres. There are obviously height limitations. Obviously we follow BS 5839 and I believe you can go up to about 40 metres, 25 or as standard, but up to 40 metres if you've got 5 minutes response time. Like an airport, for example, with its own fire alarm.
You don't have separate transmitter receiver?
We do.
How
What do you
coming?
We have the SPCET. This is a separate transmitter and receiver unit. This particular equipment will cover a total distance of 5 to 100 metres. And again, 7.5 metres to the left, 7.5 metres to the right. So a total area coverage of 1,500 square metres. Much the same as almost a zone for BS, which is 2,000 square metres. Both the units are powered from the zone, from a conventional control panel. They can also be put onto the ESP interface modules and be powered from those modules as well. You simply connect the units to the zone, power them up, set the alignment, make your sensitivity settings on this particular device, and then you close the cover. It takes approximately 5 to 10 minutes to make all the adjustments and the settings. Simply close the cover, 2 or 3 minutes to make its settings and for it to calibrate, and then it's ready to be tested.
Can you explain latching or non-latching fault option?
Yes, with this beam detector now, you have 4 DIL switches on the inside. 2 of the DIL